This is the Realty Classroom Podcast, episode number 207. The money is already in your list. Are you a real estate agent who wants to build your real estate job into a business without sacrificing your lifestyle, but you just can't seem to find the right plan or any plan to help you get there? Well, then, hey, you are definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the Realty Classroom and the host of this podcast. Now, to help you take immediate action to get started in the right direction, please listen to me tell you this. I wish somebody had given this to me before. I'm going to give you what is essentially a roadmap. Okay, I'm going to give you a roadmap to follow. It's a jumpstart course. I leave it at freeagentgift.com. Get over to freeagentgift.com and you can get this layout of the bone structure of a successful real estate agent business. And I don't care whether you're brand new to the business or you've been in it a long time. I coach top producers with big machines/teams, brokerages, individual agents. You have to know how our business really works. And that's what this basic plan does. It puts the right stuff in the right order. And I'm not somebody who just makes this up theoretically. I do this every day. In fact, as I sit here, I was just in an open house giving away a buyer plan to somebody who's now interested in the property at $3.425 million. Okay. So the practical application stuff is my life. You want to see some of the successes I have recently, ever since I got more strategic, go to thegriffin.co, TheGriffin.co, and you can see my real body of work where I apply all of this in the real world. I don't know how many coaches and trainers give away their best insider secrets and then show you it working. I'll do that for you because you probably need the validation that what I'm giving you is actually worth going to get. Because I know you're so busy that you can't type in freeagentgift.com. It's tough. Wink. Get over there. All right. The money's already in your list. I'm telling you this. And this is an interesting business concept, okay? One of the very first things in the free agent gift layout is to help you realize this isn't a job. Stop acting like real estate is a job. Even you top producers who have teams, even you broker owners who still produce, you have to be careful to separate out your own book of business like I do and look at the business. But when you really try to think about it as a producer or a brokerage team, you're trying to scrape the cream all the time. And it just leads to these terrible decisions. And what I mean by the cream, and I'll explain that, is everybody's looking for now business. I get it. Isn't it wonderful? Like today, again, I'll go back. I was at this open house in Boston, beautiful unit. I'm really pushing hard with this push marketing attempt to help my seller out of a spot that he doesn't want to be in. And hardly anybody comes for 2 weekends in a row until the right gal comes through the door who is now business. She's working with her agent. He and I have already gone back and forth. He'll be in there tomorrow. And that's the cream. It's wonderful. But in the same breath, I'm in there looking beyond the immediate sale as a business brain. I'm thinking to myself, how can I use this fabulous listing to get more business, whether it's more sellers in Boston, in the Beacon Hill area where I was, or whether it's a great buyer who's looking. I am always there trying to do what? Second point here, build a list. You see, you're always building a list. And I just gave you an open house example. I could give you all sorts of examples, whether you're an outbound caller and you enjoy calling expireds, for sale by owners, canceled withdrawals, probates where somebody has passed, or you're really into the whole idea of referred business. So you have all of these events that you go to and you meet people, or you give talks and you meet people who are referral sources. Wonderful. They're all viable sources of business. But what you're doing is you're building a list of interested people. Now, some of you are doing it completely unconsciously. You can't wait to go to these networking events and give away your business cards, but you're not really thinking about the ones that come back to you. That's a list. These are people who are likely to refer business to you. Maybe it is a probate attorney. Rather than calling administrators of the estate, you're meeting somebody who already has the relationship. See what I mean? They're all viable ways to get business. but you're building a list. So whether you go out from a company and you buy a list of expireds or probates, or you create your own list of business cards and then you're booking your luncheons, what you're doing is building a list of people that are going to be sources of revenue for your business. So you can't just go look for the probate attorney at an event who says, oh, I have somebody for you. Isn't that wonderful gravy when that happens? But you're looking for that to be recurring revenue from that person. So that person goes on the list and the next person says, oh, nice to meet you. You know, I have somebody I've been giving business to, but I'd love to, you know, have some lunch with you and have you as my backup. Wonderful. When can we do that? Now they're on your list. They're not your A player who's going to give you somebody this week and maybe recur because they don't have a relationship, but they're your B player. So you have to start to think about, well, what could I give them instead of waiting to take? So now you're building this list. It's pretty obvious, right? So I think the problem here, let me deal with the problem before I go too far into the next point, which is really the crux of what I wanted to talk about here. I look at top producers, and I'm going to give you them as the example. I respect top producers. I'm one of them. I was birthed like this. I'm just a go, sell, you know, type of guy. That's how I built my business in the beginning. 2,000 business cards, you know, an army helmet, a lamp, and a work ethic. That's it, right? I mean, literally, that's the thing I joke about all the time. And that's my mentality. And I see all of these other top producers doing it the same. And I'm telling you, we're wrong. We're wrong. That's not best practices. We're wrong. When we just put our nose to the grindstone and we brag about our work ethic and we just outwork you, per se, we're not necessarily strategic at all, and we're wrong. See, once I had the concept of the power of the list, I could then ask myself a simple question. Who's on my list? That's a pretty good question. What's the quality of that list of names? What kind of revenue will that mean? And then how do I follow up with those people? Because there's only so much cream that I can scrape each week. That's exhausting. I mean, really, when I think about how I used to do it, I mean, that's an energy-based business. What am I going to do this week to scrape some cream off the table? In a lot of people that call expireds, they wait to the end of the month when supposedly all these people expire, and they just call until they get a couple. Well, I like expireds, but if I get some of that business, wonderful. But I'm more interested in giving them some information that will help them sell their property the next time with or without me, so that I can build a list of prospects who say, oh, that's really nice. I'm not going to make a quick decision, but I'll take your information. And once they get that, then they're willing to follow up. And now they're on my list. Now they're not today's cream, but they're the thing that will sustain my business down the line. And I'm way more interested in that. I meet somebody today that wants to sell their house today and I sell it in the next 30 days. Wonderful. There's the cream. But then I meet 3 more people who over the next somewhere between 3 months and 12 months, they all still have a reason why they want to do it. They're going to be motivated as long as I will put them on a list and then build a good follow-up system to keep them apprised of what's going on in the market, especially what's selling around them, give them tips of what to do, what not to do. Pretty simple, right? But how do I know when to call them if I don't segment my list, he said. Segment my list, he said. Segment my list. See, this is the big concept, that it's pretty easy to understand that all of this effort, whether you buy it or you create your list, you're creating a list. Now, you, of course, should memorialize that in its simplest form. What I mean by that is I'm a huge fan of you writing things down on a yellow legal paper, because there's something magical when you write a name down on your list and you put some sort of a tagging system on it, right? I'll get into that in the bonus section here, but you tag them to segment them, right? And then you say, when are they going to be due and what sort of follow-up should I give them? And again, in my highest recommendation, stop making your follow-up so generic and so boring. Hey, how you doing? What? I'm doing fine. I still don't want to sell yet. Oh, okay. So what I'm saying is, hey, how you doing? It was so nice to hook up with you last week at that event. It was really great. Hey, you know what I'd like to do is I wanted to send you out that package on what we send to probate administrators. I'd like your feedback on it. You're a probate attorney. You do this all the time. I'd love you to see that. And then what I'll also do so that you can keep apprised of the market, I'd like to put you on my market update that we drop every month. And then from time to time, I'll call you with updates and I'll give you some of the insights that I see. What? So goofy easy to do, to be relevant and educational and giving to that person who's on your list, but they just don't have anything for you right now, so that when you do call up, you're contextually relevant as a real estate expert. You're not just pestering them like a woodpecker. You ready yet? You have anybody yet? I mean, that's what it sounds like on either side of the tree. If you have leads, are you ready yet? Do you have anybody yet? Gotta be careful of that. So by segmenting the list, then you can educate everybody that wants to be educated by you and therefore build this relationship. So what's happening here is you're beginning to build a concept of smart time management. Now, as a coach and a trainer and a broker owner and a doer of this thing, time management always bubbles up as the number one complaint from real estate agents, okay? Everybody complains, I'm struggling with time management. New agents tend to not to know what to do with their time. Veterans are drowning in too many things. So by simply beginning with a list, because we're in the service business, right? That's what we're in. You're serving somebody through the stages of the process of selling or buying a property. So you have to manage all of that time and keep it organized so you're serving somebody at the right level. I think that was the greatest thing for me, to see that list and say, okay, well, they all have different timings. Instead of feeling like I'm calling and saying, are you ready yet? Or do you have anybody for me yet? Why don't I just try to think about what is the common theme as a real estate agent, broker, owner, etc., expert, professional. If I'm going to actually be an expert and professional, what could I give away for free? And it was a market update. Like really specifically what's happening in the marketplace with statistics that are specific, simple, cocktail talk, I'll call it, right? What's the average price? How many days in the market, right? Those types of things, just easy stuff. But then also I'm able to add my insight. Well, where do you think it's going from here? Well, here's what I see. Here's what I think. Now, all of a sudden, they're looking for insight. So this evolution of the conversation that's going on with this list is evolving based on their need. So if a probate attorney wants to refer me to somebody and they ask, hey, what's going on this month? Because I have somebody that's coming up and I want to be able to, boom. Okay, well, here's what I see. They better get that house cleaned out pretty quickly, and it's going to have to be as clean as they possibly can afford to. If they need it, a team, we'll get our team over there. But it's getting a little tougher for sellers. We have to price this right. So if you want me to do, for state purposes, a little analysis and send that too, oh, that would be great. It's just a logical evolution of the conversation based on their timing, not yours. So it's just this outbound giving of information about how the market's doing and giving your insights that positions you amongst the members of your list. And it generalizes it. Now, the great news is we have tools that if it's a consumer and they want to stay up to date with what's selling around them, or they want to stay up to date with what's for sale as it hits the market, well, we have all the automation tools we could ever ask for in the multiple listing service in their software packages. Now we just keep them on those. We CC ourselves so we can go into a file and say, oh, I saw that 132 Main Street ended up in your inbox. Did you see that sold? So when you're calling back, you're relevant in the context of real estate to the person. Hey, I know it's about 6 months away, but it's interesting where this trend is going. Check this one out. When you get a chance, walk by it. I'm not asking him to change his mind, her to change her mind and hurry up because my timing is I need a new listing. I'm saying, hey, go check this out. I'm building this relationship with my list of prospects, a real healthy prospect list. And then all of a sudden, someone who said there's 6 months, hey, Danny, I got to sell now. I got that job offer. Can you get over here? Sure. No problem. Boom. So your list is also always bubble sorting itself, or you're bubble sorting it based on, geez, it didn't go well. I got laid off. I'm not going to be able to buy for another 6 months. No problem. Let's just keep you going. We'll keep you educated, but we'll slow down the touches, with our calls. We'll give you an update, every other month or so. Would that be good? So it's this cool idea of bubble sorting this list of prospects. Now, here's a really key point that I want to end up with, okay? The solution to building a good list, right? Let's talk about it as a solution, is that your main segments of the list, so that I give you a what to do right when you listen to this podcast, the main segment should focus on sellers versus your buyers. That's the first list segmentation, okay? A lot of you just blend these. A lot of people that I know that get referrals, these are very blended lists, or top producers, they just get any kind of digital lead that they can, and they don't really even think about the sourcing of that lead. Okay. Is this platform getting me buyers only, or am I getting any sellers? And if I do so, am I supposed to be doing something intentionally? It just seems so nebulous and off to me when it's just a simple thing. This business is driven by listings. Listings are owned by people we call sellers. And you need to develop relationships with people that are thinking about selling their property. If you want the max time leverage, if you want the max marketing leverage, business leverage, it's in the listings. It doesn't throw buyers away. I love buyers. It's just that I want to lead my intentionality to build a list of sellers who are thinking about selling over the next 12 months and keep that list replenished all the time through the best systems that are automated and leverage that I can find. And then say, okay, that time that's spent leading to all those sellers, is there a byproduct of buyers? Definitely. I mean, when you have listings, there's no doubt if you do some just listed marketing, whether it's telemarketing versions of that, postcards, and just sold, same thing. There are a lot of opportunities to promote that listing to attract other sellers and buyers. Open houses are just a tremendous way to attract real serious buyers who may or may not like that house. I mean, I double end more listings than we can even come close to doing it. And then I end up selling them something else. It's just what a wonderful use of time when you actually want to work in your business. And I build prospects that way for my own book. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't go back to the digital buyer side right now. I'm trying to crack the code to see if I can get as quality a buyer that way. So I'm always interested in quality. And what that means is the final point here. I got smart as a business person and slowed down and said, where can I increase the profit through a higher gross margin in my business? Gross margin just means when you take the sale of a property and you pay off the brokerage, their portion of it, you're left with this portion that you can pay your expenses and turn a net profit. Simple. Okay. That's a very simple concept. I'll leave it at that. So if you want more gross profit and therefore net profit, okay, ultimately, net profit comes from just being a good manager of your expenses. But gross profit, the easiest way to expand that is to sell something more expensive, right? It's not rocket science. You can, even if you hold the commission rate the same, or even if you lower it, at the higher you go, you'd be surprised at what nice gross profit is there above the median price versus below it. So here I have these two stupid, simple, techniques. Just build the dang list intentionally, segmented from sellers and buyers, and then look at the sellers who own a property above the median price in the area you're targeting versus those below, and spend more time talking to the people that have it above. And again, this is not some prejudicial thing against people who own a property less than median, but it is an intentional business thing that raises the gross profit. So you can explain me away all you want, like I explained myself away for years and ended up well below the median at volume. It is not a healthy business model. And eventually you can watch somebody have the race to zero when they all of a sudden start saying distress sales and pre-foreclosures, and they become a specialist in that. Yikes. Do those margins get thin? Because then the cost of chasing those, forget about the lowering value of the properties. So you have lower gross margin. Now there's all this expense because you have more to deal with. So every time you have an individual property to deal with, there's more operating expense. It is ugly. Be careful, right? All right, let me go back and reiterate this. The money is in your list, folks. Okay? So you got to be intentional about this conversation. The first thing is realize everybody tries to scrape the cream. You can't wait to get the person who's selling or buying in front of you. And you neglect the longer term relationships that lead to a steady business. So understand the second point. You're always building a list. You better be. And I would start by writing names down and then digitizing them. Don't get too complicated before you get simple. Next, when you get that list, you have to think about segmenting it clearly, because that's smart time management. Your time management, spending time looking at the sellers versus the buyers second, is smart. And the next thing is, in the seller pile and in the buyer pile, who's looking to sell or buy above the median price? That's smart and profitable. And I know that's what you want. All right, I'll summarize it this way. Most real estate agents, whether knowingly or unknowingly, are focusing only on the now business, which we refer to at the TRC as scraping the cream off the top. Although this helps cash flow in the now, it does not set up certainty in the future for your business. Therefore, you must also pay attention to building your list of future prospects and spend your time wisely nurturing them over time. The pro tip here is to focus on sellers before buyers. I'm not saying get rid of buyers. I'm just saying focus on sellers before buyers, and any business that brings you a sale above the median price in your preferred target market area. Those are the factors that will drive your time leverage, make it better, and more importantly, your gross profit margins to build a healthier business. All right, remember, you can take immediate action and get started in the right direction with our free, simple business plan. I keep saying this. This is real stuff. I'm giving away the roadmap to building a business. This is what I do every day. I've done it for myself. It works. I told you, go over to thegriffin.co, look at my featured properties, and look at my business expanding across the country. I'm following the same dang strategy and roadmap I want to give you, okay? I got to say this with more vigor because there's so much noise out there. I do this, folks, okay? I don't just preach it. Although I do sound like a preacher sometimes. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen. We also post all this content on YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe to the Realty Classroom channel, the Realty Classroom channel. Would also appreciate it. Please share this content. Just give it away to somebody. You don't even have to tell me about it. Just help them, will you? Don't leave them hanging, trying to guess. It's just ugly in this industry. There's too many people guessing on how to do this. Remember, though, nobody's coming for you. Nobody is coming for you. So go get to work on your own business, and we'll see you in the next episode, hopefully to stimulate you, motivate you to do just that. Thanks.